The laughter hit Ethan Miller before the words did. It rolled across the picnic tables in Laurelhurst Park, Portland, loud and careless. The kind of laughter that didn't ask who it might hurt. Ethan stood near the edge of the crowd with a paper plate in his hand, the sun warm on his neck. And he knew before he fully understood that the joke was about him. "Come on," Ryan Miller said, raising his drink, voice booming. "If it wasn't for my little brother here, I'd still be stuck in some overpriced apartment with a broken heater." More laughter followed, easy, effortless. Ethan's jaw tightened. He forced a small smile, the same one he had learned to use years ago. The polite one. The safe one. To anyone watching, it looked like a normal family picnic. Kids chased each other across the grass. Someone flipped burgers on a portable grill. A Bluetooth speaker played soft country music. This was the kind of scene Americans loved. Summer, family, sunshine. Perfect for photos. But Ethan felt like he was shrinking. Ryan clapped him on the shoulder a little too hard. "Seriously, though," Ryan continued, "Ethan's the landlord now. Big shot. But don't let that fool you. He's always been the careful one. Never takes risks. Plays it safe." A cousin snorted. Someone else nodded. Ethan stared down at his plate. His appetite vanished. Ryan had always been like this, charming, loud, confident. The older brother who walked into a room and owned it. Growing up, teachers liked Ryan, friends followed him. Even their parents leaned on him when they wanted things to feel normal. Ethan was the opposite. Quiet, observant, the one who listened. What no one saw was how much Ethan carried. He had worked late nights after college, saving every dollar. He had bought a small duplex when the market dipped, taking a risk no one expected from him. He had paid bills without telling anyone. And when Ryan lost his job, Abinant had offered him a place to live. Cheap rent? No pressure, because family helps family. Ryan lifted his cup again. "Let's be honest," he said with a grin. If Ethan didn't get lucky with timing, he'd still be counting pennies. Right, man? The word lucky landed hard. Ethan felt heat rise in his chest. Not anger. Something deeper. A quiet realization that settled like a weight. Ryan wasn't teasing. He meant it. Ethan looked around, hoping someone would step in. Their aunt smiled awkwardly. Their mother pretended to fix a napkin. No one spoke. That's when Ethan noticed Claire Thompson. She stood near the edge of the blanket, a few feet away, holding a cup with both hands. She wasn't smiling. Her eyes were on Ryan, sharp and thoughtful. Ethan hadn't known she would be there. Claire had once been the person who saw him most clearly. They had dated for 3 years. Long walks, quiet talks, plans that felt real. But when Ethan chose stability over risk and Claire chose a job opportunity across the country, neither of them fought hard enough to stay. They ended things gently, too gently. Seeing her now stirred something old and unfinished. Claire's gaze shifted to Ethan. Their eyes met. Her expression softened, just slightly. And he felt exposed in a way that had nothing to do with Ryan's jokes. Ryan laughed again. "All right, enough about my brother before he starts calculating the cost of this picnic." More laughter. Ethan set his plate down on the table, untouched. His hands felt steady, but his thoughts raced. He thought about the duplex, about the check he deposited every month, about the messages from Ryan asking for just a little more time when rent was late, about how Ryan never said thank you in a way that felt real. Instead, he joked. As the picnic continued, Ethan drifted. Conversations blurred. The sky stayed blue. The park stayed loud. But something inside him had gone quiet. Claire walked over. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey," Ethan replied. She glanced toward Ryan, who was now telling a different story to a new group. "That was a lot." Ethan nodded. "He's always been like that." "That doesn't make it okay," she said. Ethan shrugged. "It's just how he jokes." Claire looked at him carefully. "Does it feel like a joke to you?" He didn't answer right away. The truth pressed against his chest. "No," he said finally. She held his gaze. "You don't have to laugh along." Before he could respond, Their aunt called out, "Everyone, gather around. Let's do a toast." A familiar knot formed in Ethan's stomach. Ryan straightened immediately. "I've got it," he said, already stepping forward. People gathered closer. Phones came out. Smiles returned. Ryan cleared his throat, enjoying the attention. "I just want to say how great it is to have everyone together," he began. "Family means everything. We stick together. We help each other." Ethan listened, each word tightening the knot. And of course, Ryan added, glancing at him, "We should thank my brother for always being there when I need him. Financially, emotionally, whatever." Light laughter followed. Ryan raised his cup higher. "To Ethan, our family's safety net." The words echoed. Something in Ethan snapped not loudly. Not dramatically, but cleanly. He stood up. The movement was small, but it changed everything. Ryan paused mid-smile. "What's up?" Ethan picked up his own cup. His heart pounded, but his voice came out steady. "If we're doing toasts," he said, "I think I should say something too." The crowd fell silent. A few people exchanged looks. Ryan chuckled. "All right, man. Didn't know you were feeling brave today." Ethan ignored the comment. He looked around at the faces he had known his whole life. People who thought they understood him. "I believe in family," Ethan said. "I believe in showing up. I believe in helping when you can." Ryan shifted, his smile fading. "But I also believe respect matters," Ethan continued. "And sometimes staying quiet isn't kindness. It's fear." Claire's eyes widened slightly. Ethan took a breath. The air felt thick, charged. "I've spent a long time letting people decide who I am," he said. "Today, I'm done with that." Ryan frowned. "Ethan, this isn't a joke," Ethan said calmly. The park felt suddenly too still. Even the kids nearby had gone quiet. Ethan lifted his cup. Not in celebration, but in clarity, and in that moment, everyone sensed the balance had shifted. Because whatever Ethan was about to say next, there was no going back. The silence after Ethan stood up felt louder than the laughter that came before. Every face turned toward him. The picnic, the music, the easy summer mood, all of it froze in that single moment. Ryan's smile faded, replaced by confusion, then irritation. He wasn't used to this version of his younger brother. No one was. Ethan didn't rush. He knew if he spoke too fast, he might lose control. He held his cup steady, feeling its cool edge against his fingers. Grounding himself. "I wasn't planning to speak today," Ethan said. His voice carried across the grass, calm but firm. "But sometimes the truth shows up, whether you invite it or not." Ryan let out a short laugh. "All right, man. Don't make this weird." Ethan looked at him. Really looked at him. The brother he had defended for years. The brother he had supported quietly, hoping things would change. "I don't want to embarrass you," Ethan said. "But I also won't be embarrassed anymore." A murmur moved through the crowd. "For a long time," Ethan continued, "I thought being supportive meant staying silent. I thought love meant absorbing jokes that didn't feel like jokes. I told myself it was easier that way." Ryan crossed his arms. "This is a picnic, Ethan." "Yes," Ethan said. "And you chose this moment to make me the punchline." That landed. Ethan took a breath and went on. "You've lived in my duplex for 3 years. I charged you less than half of what anyone else would. I fixed things the same day they broke. I didn't ask questions when rent was late." Ryan's face flushed. "You're really bringing business into this." "I didn't," Ethan replied. "You did. When you turned my help into a joke." The crowd stayed silent now. No phones, no smiles. "I helped because I wanted to," Ethan said. "But help only works when it's met with respect. Today showed me something I can't ignore anymore." Ryan shook his head. "This is unbelievable." Ethan nodded slowly. "No. It surprised me too." He lifted his cup slightly. "So here's my toast. Starting today, I'm ending our rental agreement. You'll have 60 days to find another place." The words hung in the air. Someone gasped. Someone else whispered Ryan's name. Ryan stared at Ethan as if he were looking at a stranger. "You can't do that." "I can," Ethan said. "And I am." Ryan's voice rose. "After everything. You're doing this here? In front of everyone." Ethan met his eyes. "You didn't mind joking in front of everyone?" That was the end of it. Ethan lowered his cup, took a small sip, and sat down. His hands shook now, but his chest felt lighter, as if something tight had finally loosened. The picnic never found its rhythm again. People spoke in low voices. Conversations ended quickly. Ryan paced near the parking lot, phone pressed to his ear, anger written across his face. Their mother tried to speak to him, but he waved her off. Ethan stayed where he was. Claire sat beside him a few minutes later. She didn't say anything at first. She just sat, letting the space between them breathe. "That couldn't have been easy," she said quietly. Ethan exhaled. "I thought I'd feel worse, and do you?" He considered it. "I feel sad, but not wrong," she nodded. "That matters." They talked as the sun lowered. About small things at first. Work, the city. How strange it felt to see everyone again. Slowly, the heavier things surfaced. "You've changed," Claire said. "So have you," Ethan replied. "Maybe," she said. "But I think you finally caught up to who you were meant to be." That stayed with him. Ryan moved out weeks later. The process was tense, but quiet. No shouting. No dramatic calls. Just short messages, paperwork, and distance. Ryan found another apartment across town. More expensive, smaller, reality setting in. They didn't talk much after that. Ethan noticed the absence more than the silence. Family gatherings felt different, quieter, more honest. He didn't regret his choice. One evening, months later, Ethan sat on the steps of the duplex, watching the sunset paint the sky orange and pink. The unit was empty now, clean, ready for a new tenant. Claire stopped by. They had been meeting for coffee. Then dinners. Nothing rushed. Nothing forced. Just two people speaking honestly for the first time in a long time. "I got a job offer," she said, sitting beside him. "In Seattle." Ethan felt a familiar ache, but this time he didn't hide it. "That's big." "It is," she said. "But I didn't say yes yet." He turned to her. "You don't have to decide based on me." She smiled. "I know." That's the difference now. They sat in comfortable silence. Ethan realized something then. Cutting off the rent wasn't about money. It was about choosing himself, about setting a boundary that allowed him to grow. When Claire stood to leave, she paused. "For what it's worth," she said, "the man who stood up that day, that's the man I fell for. I just didn't know how to wait for him." Ethan watched her walk away, heart full and steady. He didn't know what the future held, but for the first time it felt like his dot, and that was enough.